Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yes.
Paul,
Wim.
I will introduce me shortly and we can start our webinar. Welcome all. My name is Wim and I'm here on behalf of ProJoules.
My name is Paul van Gils and I'm here on behalf of Lumiforte as consultant, technical support for consultants, distributors around the world, and my colleagues, of course.
And we're going to talk about effective coating strategies.
Yes.
So
yes.
quite exciting.
Of course.
Click there.
Yes. One moment. I will start. A short story from my side of how I always watch how to combine the way we as people look for the sun and plants are look at the sun. Let me see. It's not quite working.
It's working with that one. If you go there with your mouse.
Yes, of course. So we do that. So after winter, the sun always starts shining, and that's when my blood is going to my body and think, yes, the winter is gone, the sun starts shining, and that moment, I like the spring most, just like now. But at the end of spring, temperatures are getting higher, water temperatures are getting higher,
I recognize.
and I go to the sea. We live both near to the sea, not so far away. I take everything with me, my blanket, a ball, racket, etc. Go to the beach, unclothe myself, and run into the water. I'm in the water, forget about the time, and at the end of the day, I found out I forgot something. My skin is burned, and it's really painful in the evening, at the end of the evening. And then that time, I think, oh, stupid! I should have used sun cream, or I should have sit under an umbrella a little bit more. This is also how I see plants. Growers, some of you in the end are a grower. You are really enthusiastic after winter. You see the sun, you want to open your screens, you want to have the plants all the light, and in your enthusiasm, you forget that the light is not able to handle that light what you are providing them. So the possibility could be there that you have sunburn or too high leaf temperatures. You should have thought, shall I first apply a coating, or shall I use my screen a little bit more at the high radiation moments of the day?
Sounds good.
Correct.
We're going to talk first about why before we can talk to applicate a coating, we first need to explain why you can use ProJoules to give you the additional insights. What we see here is a graph of the light. ProJoules, in the settings of the company, they put in the numbers, the radiation sum numbers, day averages from week 1 till 52.
Okay.
At that moment, this is start because light is what we need to grow our plants. Besides that, the system always calculates with joules at plant level. That means 100% outside, we lose light. The system is using joules inside on plant level. We see also that green line here. We see transmission, that number is filled in on department level.
And is that the numbers? Is that the same with glass or plastic, or is
no? There are different numbers. Also older and younger greenhouses, and also plastic. But from measurements and knowledge, we have already good understandings of these transmission numbers.
Interesting.
We see another line here. We see here the red dotted line. The red dotted line means a maximum amount of usable light, usable joules per day. What we see is all crops have a maximum amount of joules they can use. For example, if we talk about the cucumber or tomato crop, it's around 1,350 till 1,400 joules on plant level. There's more or less around 1,800 joules outside. When you look at pepper crops, it's around 100 joules less. Also, what we see it here on the right of the graph. We see here, this is also written in our variety profiles. They can use variety profiles. We have them for all the fruit vegetable crops. We see here the maximum usable light and also the RTR. The system calculates also with the ratio temperature radiation. But at the end, we see that red dotted line. And what do we see here? Above that red dotted line, till the green line, that we call it the red cloud. That's the light what is available for the plant. And not all of that light is a threat. So when you do something, you always can keep a little bit on higher level. But the big part is also going together with high radiation, goes to higher temperatures, and also too high relative humidities, and sometimes also with lower relative humidities. Another line came in, that is the purple line. The purple line indicates the calculated amount of joules per day, also on plant level. So what do we see here? For example, this comes also from the ProJoules plan. We see a couple of things. This is a tomato crop. We talk about stem density, the truss development, amount of trusses per week. The pruning policy means the amount of tomatoes per truss. We see the grow period, the amount of days from fruit set till harvesting. The weight is an average weight of the tomato. They can all fill that in a pre-planning, and that will help them to make them an easier plan. We see a total fruit set, and we see an amount of joules, a required amount of joules per gram. In total, this will bring up the purple line. And what does a grower need to do? We see the green line, that's the light was available, till the maximum red dotted line, and then we go back, this is autumn again. And what we need to do, or what a grower needs to do, is to get that purple line near to the green line.
Yes.
One last thing about it, at the moment that growers are using lightning, mostly it will be at the moment LED. Some of them still Santé. They also can use the system to calculate the desired amount of light. What do I need from my LED to make a good performance of my crop?
So the goal is that a grower follow the purple line and needs to be with the red clouds around the dotted line.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
You're right. Okay. This is, let's say, a little bit an entrance, to talk about the coatings, because now we know a little bit more. And what I learn is also about, and we can see that here. We see here again that amount of light. This is a light plan from Austria. And we see a big cloud of too much light.
Yes, it's enough.
It's more than enough.
Yeah. So from our side as a consultant and Lumiforte, we also see that the red cloud is too much. And we have our thoughts about how to get that down. And you see that on the right part, on the right graph. That's what we normally say to the people, what we recommend for coating, but it is always a little bit difficult to lay it out, to express ourselves, because what we say in words, we cannot show.
We try to make it visible.
And that's something that is possible with ProJoules, that you can make it visually what happens after the use of a coating.
Correct.
So we're really glad.
And how system working, we see it here also on the lower part of the graph. We see that the 10% and the 20%. This is the light what you take away without any problem. Is only positive, but again, you need to have a little layer above that red dotted line.
Yes. So just like Wim said, a little part above the dotted line is recommended. And the reason is that if we talk about coatings and there is too much, just like you see on this graph left above, that's too much. But we don't want to take away everything. We don't want to go to only the dotted line. We always want to stay a little bit above for possible dark days. So we have our ideas about the recommended coatings. And from our point of view, we see the benefit of a heat reflecting coating. And that could be Redifuse IR or Redu-Heat.
At the beginning of the season.
At the beginning of the season as base coating. Because we don't think that only this coating with this amount of reflection should do it for the whole season.
Correct.
But it is a start because you come, just like I mentioned in the first, you come out of the winter.
Yep.
You don't have too much light and you don't want to take away too much light at the first moment. So therefore we think that red diffuse IR, red heat, for a first stage is better because you reflect the infrared and don't take away too much light, raw light in this case. We do that when the temperatures are higher with Redusol
Yep.
or with Redusol combined with spray chalk. Our colleague Jelle, who is traveled a lot through Austria, developed some mixture with Redusol and spray chalk. And this combination makes it possible that in summer you have a little bit of Redusol add with spray chalk.
Yep.
That helps throughout the summer, but when it rains, the spray chalk will rain off. You'll
Yep.
be left over with a little bit of Redusol. And this make the climate inside more in balance.
Yep.
And that makes that the plant is more balanced, so the trusses are more developed and fruit set is better. After the summer, we want to get rid of the Redusol and spray chalk, and in the possibility of a washing machine, we suggest to wash with water in a washing machine.
Yeah, that's what we see here.
Yes.
Here we see that red mark. That means there's a mechanical cleaning. So
Correct.
what they do is you go with your machine on it, with or without water.
Yes.
You take a bit, a part of the Redusol, but also I think the main part of the chalk away.
Yeah.
You continue, and it's also my own experience, what I've seen in Austria. You do the mechanical cleaning at that moment. Then you have a couple of weeks left, 3 or 4 weeks left. And at a certain moment, you decide to use
Redu-Clean.
Redu-Clean.
And you can either choose to apply the Redu-Clean, just leave it that and let the rain do the rest, or combine it with a washing machine mechanically. This way, this situation, just like you see here, should be a way to optimize growth in this area in Austria.
What I like is, let's say here, the build-up of the coating in 1-2 layers. Second time is, let's say, after, call it the summer, around week 32 in this situation, mechanical cleaning a little, and then you take everything away. And in autumn, you have all the light you need for the crop.
People should say, okay, but I started with Red Diffuse IR or Red Heat, and on top of that Redusol, why not immediately Redusol? The thing is, the start of the coating with the heat reflection stayed working under the Redusol. So if you start with the Red Diffuse IR, you can decide later when to apply the Redusol combined with spray chalk. So maybe you have a little bit darker weather, and you don't have to apply it in week 19. You can leave it there to 121. After the application of the Redusol or the summer mix, the heat reflection is still working underneath the Redusol, and you end up with it. So good combination.
Sounds good. Already, this is our first case about Austria. If you have any questions, put them in the Q&A or put them in the chat. And after, let's say, the second part of our talk, we will try to answer them.
Yes.
Let's go to Mexico.
La 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 la. Yes.
We don't talk about tequila.
No.
Please.
We talk about the weather conditions. It's different as it is in Europe. So we had Austria, it's
correct.
Europe. But in Mexico, the light levels are different.
Correct.
The growth of the plant growth is not particularly
and
different.
Also the season is different. We see that also here with the purple line. The purple line here, what we see, starts around week 37. That means that is a planting of week 34, 35. First fruit set came somewhere in 37. And we go, or they go, with this particular crop through the winter. And that's also what we see here. To their winter. And winter is another winter than, let's say, in Western Europe.
Correct.
And you see here, the line goes down, and then there is a moment of crop change.
Yes, I was in Mexico in around week 4, and it was already 20 degrees Celsius, warm. The radiation was already there. And I've been informed that the radiation will go to the roof really short time.
We see that here also.
Correct.
That in a couple of weeks, in a month's time, you see how fast that light is increasing. And that light is not only increasing, also temperature, outside temperature, and the relative humidity, especially in that period of the year, goes down. Yeah, as fast you can't imagine.
No.
They are losing that humidity completely outside.
And you want to have your plant balanced. So you need to
Correct.
do something to keep everything in line. So we thought about how can we cope with that with the coatings. And you see the coated part already right on the bottom. We had the idea based on the data also in ProJoules and the numbers that Redifuse IR, Redu Heat is a really good product to start with in Mexico. Because we want to have the light in start, because it's although it's going up, we want to have the light in because we come out of winter. We want to have the grow light for the photosynthesis, but the heat is going up so rapidly, and that's the part we want to take out.
Sure.
It's possible to start with Redifuse IR. It's maybe even possible to do it twice or go with Redu Heat on top. Although
it's more the experience.
That's the experience we have. Although we understand that could be a really cost product, cost way of doing that. So also here, it's possible to do that with Redisol. We see that in Mexico, people are using drones. And because of that, we can do the layer of Redisol in different layers. Or we use Redisol together with spray chalk again, because we see that we have raining season in Mexico. So in our Dutch summer, it rains a lot in Mexico. And if you have a lot of rain, you have dark and bright periods. So at that moment, you think, okay, the Redisol spray chalk, we can wear it off a little bit because of the rain.
I want to add something to it. It's also our own experience is that what you say about a layer, that some growers using these drones are doing maybe twice or 3 times a layer of Redisol. So it's not that they put immediately 5, 6, 7, 8 buckets.
No.
They do in a certain period. Also what we can see here in this, let's say, period at the start, because here at this level, when we are here around week 11, week 12, you are on your maximum amount of available light. At that moment, the total coating needs to be on the roof. But using drones make it for them a lot easier to do this application.
The positive thing of Mexico and the opposite of the Netherlands is that they have periods of the day that there is no wind. Here it's always windy, and in Mexico in the evening when the sun is gone, the wind is gone. So we have a company we have both contact with, and they have nine drones flying in the night, and they do the applications by night, and they do several layers of Redisol on top of each other to try to keep down the light levels and to make the climate balanced. It works really well. Although at the end of the season, when the light levels are try to go down and your plant does not need all the light or need all the light, but the light levels are gone, we want to take off the coatings. And we have an experience that if you apply Redu Clean, you apply it on only the north part of tunnels, that the Redisol, Redu Heat, Redifuse IR will go loose. And when you have just water and you apply water on that north part, all coatings will be gone. And then in the morning, every morning you have the direct, you have the light inside, the temperature. So the plants are warming up not by heating, but by the light of the sunlight. And then when the sun is twisting in the afternoon, you have the coating and covered plastic. But
then week 45,
everything needs to be off. Because we want also here all the light in winter. Because although there is a lot of light, we see that the 150 joules per day is on plant level still there. But we want to have everything off because we don't want to have underneath the red dot line.
So what you do is you put the application with the Redu Clean. You spray it in,
Yeah.
and then you also use the water, and then
Correct.
you can continue with the crop, because you see, especially in that period, fruit load is always high. That's also our experience. People always think that sun is remaining,
Yes.
but also they have their winter. So you need to take care that that greenhouse is completely clean.
Yes, we want all the light coming in, also in Mexico.
This is what you don't want to see, but this is also what's happening. And I've seen a lot of fruits like this. Now, as everyone knows, we talk about blossom end rot.
Yeah.
And it's in tomatoes, it's in peppers, and we will talk about it also. What are consequences of too much light and heat? Too high plant temperature.
And we don't want that.
Why don't we want it?
We get stressed, plant.
We get stressed. What is happening? Stomatas are closing. The plants are not evaporating enough. Plant temperature goes up.
Yeah.
Plant gets stress, and also one of the things where you can get is the blossom end rot part.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you see that plants are growing different, not the way we want.
No.
So you have much more generous growth.
Yeah.
And we want have all plants temperatures down to have more a little bit vegetative grow.
Yeah.
And we want to get out of the blossom and rot moments, because it's always a moment. It's not that you can say or predict when it's there. There is one moment that you are busy, not with your head there, not looking at your computer, and then all of a sudden it's there.
I recognize. Also, what you say with too generative plants, what's happening is always when they're too generative, you get too many flowers, you get too many new fruits.
Yeah.
When you don't have any, let's say, fruit pruning strategy, you get too many fruits, and too many fruits will always end with too small fruits.
Yeah.
And that's happening, I've seen before. So important to think about that kind of things.
But if you have all small fruits, you also have small leaves. Small fruit are hanging in the sun.
No umbrella. Your umbrella from your first plate. There is no umbrella.
And before you know it, you have a lot of small fruit which is damaged.
Yep.
And we want to stay out of that.
For sure. Cost of too much light and heat.
Yeah. So say that a kilo of a bell pepper.
€1. I think it's a minimum. We talk, let's say in Holland, it's around €1. If I see in other countries, the value of the pepper, depending also of the type of the pepper, can be at least twice or sometimes 3 times as much. Yeah. When you talk about these pointed peppers, Paul, they can make that kind of money. So also talking about the amount of money,
then you don't want to have blossom end rot.
You don't want to lose. Yeah. So what did we calculate? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so we calculated one fruit per plant, because if you have 7 stems per square meter and you miss out one fruit,
7 per
square meter, it's a lot. Then you miss out 14,000 kilo of plants which are damaged because of blossom end rot. If you calculate that with €1 per kilo, it's 14,000 euros.
It's a lot of money. And then then we have these two generative plants, and we have to be serious, because we can laugh sometimes, but if you see growers, what they are facing in problems, same with too small fruits. If you have, for instance, 2 kilograms with 2 small fruits, you don't get that €1 anymore. You get maybe 50 cents, 60 cents. So also,
if you calculate with the 50 cents,
then again, it's a lot of money.
But it's still 10,000 euros. It's a lot. I'm really shocked. It's a lot of money. If you have weak plants because of problems with your roots or anything like that, and you miss also kilos because of that, and hopefully not, but you have less production because of weak plants, then you also can miss out a lot of money.
I can give you an example. We can't talk about names, but we have a grower and a customer in Germany. He never applied coating, because he said, Wim, it's only for 4 or 5 weeks in the summer. Why should I do it? Then ProJoules make it visible that there was a certain period, that 5 weeks, that was really too much light. So what did he do? He did an application with radio heat. The grow maintained, quality maintained, and he said, my plants were really healthier in autumn. He became a better plant, and more yields and a better quality. And that's, I think, why we have to look at. Besides that, when we have a problem, what do we get?
Yeah,
Plants out of balance,
extra labor costs.
extra labor
If you have
cost.
damaged fruit, you have to take it out, and you have to sort it out. You have to throw it away.
Yeah.
So all things combined, I hope that growers are becoming in this situation because it costs a lot of money. So what should a grower or we do?
What can you do? What I think is what we can do is optimizing sunlight. And it sounds very simple, but also what we see is when people are using the system and they are starting to think about the amount of light, what they really need for the crop, what I see is then they already start to think before the season starts, how shall I do, let's say, my application of my coatings?
Yeah, I get a lot of questions about,
Yeah.
okay, I expect that I reach a lot of light.
Yeah.
What can I do to to be ahead already, to make a plan, a strategy, and to see how can I use a coating to optimize my climate, to
Yeah.
have a really good climate. And yes, people with more insight,
Yeah.
are having less problems.
And what we also see with, let's say, experiences with customers of us is at the moment that they are aware of a better coating strategy, that they already decided to do something,
Yeah,
they also start to grow another type of plant because a lot of growers say, summer is coming,
yeah,
I need to have a strong plant. What I see now, when you have a better plant, also with a coating strategy, you can grow a little bit other plant, let's say a bit more generative, still
correct.
vigorous. And at that moment, to use the coating will help you not to lose any kilogram,
No,
but to maintain a better quality.
I always say you start growing a Christmas tree, and then you try to change the
Yep,
Christmas tree
yep,
otherwise,
yep,
because you know you're going to steer the crop generative, and then you have a vegetative action by using a coating.
yep.
Yes,
Now, also, that's what I said just before. You change, I see people are changing the cultivation strategy because they have a coating strategy.
yes. So we like to tell everybody what coating is preferred for their crop, for their location in the world. And we are really glad that ProJoules data is helping that, because of the data which you put in, and the levels of the light which is registered in the data. And then the advice is being given by ProJoules. You have to use something, and then you can see how much shading material you more or less you can use to get the optimum light levels.
What I think is an important thing, sorry to interrupt you,
No,
is to have knowledge. One is knowledge, but second is make knowledge visible. Because a lot of people, they think sun is always good, like your first slide.
yes,
And I think you need to aware of that not all the light is good for you. So, and I think we call it even the red cloud, make it visible. That's the main part, I think, also. But anyway, for more information about the coatings, go to lumiforte.com.
And if you want to have more information about the data and how to get to reach the amount of kilos you want, go to projoules.com.